I don't remember a specific point in time, but through a gradual process as a child and through my family traditions and a rich church environment, I remember putting my trust in Jesus Christ as my Savior. After high school, I went to college, and in my junior year, I met Mark, and I knew that he was going to be the man I was going to marry. And up until that point in my life, everything was going pretty much how I had planned it out in my head. Mark and I were married in the year 2000, and 2 years later, we found out that we were expecting our first child. I was elated. I expected pregnancy and being a mommy to be just as smooth as the first 25 years of my life. However, going in for my routine 20-week ultrasound, everything changed. The ultrasound technician came back in the room and told us that there was something wrong with our baby's heart. At that point, they only had theories, and she told us that we would need to meet with pediatric cardiologists the following week. We were devastated. He diagnosed our baby with a severe congenital heart defect called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. HLHS is a condition where the left two chambers of the heart are severely underdeveloped, and this would mean that our baby girl would be born with basically half of a heart. At this point in my life, I started to seriously question God's plan for me. My faith was wavering, I was experiencing doubt, and I started blaming God for what was happening to me. I delivered Abby on July 26, 2003. She was 8 pounds, 2 ounces, and she looked perfect. The medical team was ready for her, and they whisked her off to start her on life-saving drugs. She had her first open heart surgery when she was just 4 days old, and after 14 days in the hospital, Mark and I brought her home for the first time. It was only 2 months until Abby needed her second open heart surgery. After she came home, we had a fairly uneventful 2 years, during which we welcomed our second daughter, Claire, to our family. And then when Abby was 2.5, she needed to have her third open heart surgery, and again was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. In December of 2006, we got the devastating news that Abby was in heart failure. The plan at that time was to put her on the National Heart Transplant list the following spring. But February 12th, 2007, I gave birth to our third daughter, Eva, and the following morning, Abby's heart crashed. Her organs started shutting down, and she started to have seizures, and she was airlifted to Children's Hospital in Minneapolis, where she was fighting for her life. After several weeks of Abby really suffering in the hospital, our loving cardiologist pulled Mark and me aside, and he told us that we needed to consider what quality of life she was going to have, and that at that point we needed to consider possibly taking her home and making her comfortable and letting her go. It was in that moment that I realized that Abby belonged to God and that He would decide the timing for her life. And if it was His will that we should let her go, I felt a peace about that. And I knew that His timing would be perfect. So we prayed about what to do, and we prayed that God would give us a sign, something to tell us which direction we should go. And within 48 hours, Abby was sitting up and playing pretend cards with her grandpa, and we knew that that was our sign that we needed to keep fighting. After 5 months in the hospital, we brought her home on 3 central IV drugs that were keeping her alive, and she was listed for a transplant at that time. We kept waiting and praying for Abby to get a new heart, and during these challenging months, thousands of people started following her story and praying alongside of us for her to get a new heart. The power of prayer that we witnessed was incredible, Eventually, we decided that we needed to move Abby to St. Louis Children's Hospital to increase her chances for getting a new heart. And just 6 weeks after we moved our family to St. Louis, we got the call that there was a heart available for Abby. August 3rd, 2008, we were blessed to witness a true miracle. Because of the selfless act of another family during one of the darkest days of their life, our child was given a second chance at life through the gift of a new heart. Her recovery was an absolute miracle. Her body accepted the new heart, and we witnessed a kind of energy that we had never before seen in our child. Right away, we knew that this was God's plan for Abby. It's been almost 7 years since Abby received her new heart, and there have been some medical complications along the way, but overall, she's growing and thriving. She's filled with joy, and she carries that with her wherever she goes. Through the events that we witnessed after Abby's birth, God met me in a powerful way, and my faith in Jesus Christ was renewed. I now understand that my life will never be perfect. We are all faced with challenges and sadness. I absolutely trust that God has a plan for me, Abby, and all of us.